The F-35C, a single-engine stealth fighter and the newest jet in the US Navy fleet, crash-landed on the aircraft carrier USS Carl Vinson during routine operations. The F-35C is a version of the plane specially designed to operate from aircraft carriers. The $100 million warplane impacted the flight deck of the aircraft carrier, then fell into the sea as its pilot ejected. The pilot and 6 sailors aboard the Vinson were injured. The United States Navy is trying to retrieve its most advanced fighter jet from the depths of the South China Sea, an extremely complex operation that analysts say will be closely monitored by Beijing. The jet would have made an enticing target for China if it had attempted to recover it from the depths of the Pacific Ocean. The crash of one of the most advanced fighter jets in the world into international waters had fueled the speculations that US Navy might quickly launch a salvage operation to prevent other foreign powers, especially China, from trying to do the same. The race is on. Now to get the appropriate kind of recovery gear, the deep diving submersibles that actually pull the wreckage up off the bottom of the ocean. According to Ganyard, a retired marine aviator, China probably has a general idea of where the jet entered the waters of South China Sea, making its advanced stealth technology an enticing target for China to launch its own salvage operation. The Chinese have it, the US Navy has it, said Ganyard. Both countries are going to want to get a hold of this wreckage. It is unclear how deep the waters are where the F-35 fell into the Pacific, but the Navy has considerable experience in salvaging wreckage in deep waters. Late last year, the US Navy helped the British Royal Navy recover an F-35B fighter from the waters of Mediterranean after it had crashed. In 2001, a heavily damaged American EP-3 surveillance plane made a daredevil emergency landing on China's Hainan Island after a collision with a pursuing Chinese fighter plane. The fighter crashed and its pilot was killed. The 24 crew of the EP-3 who had been lucky to survive the collision were detained and interrogated by the Chinese authorities after their release 10 days later. Meanwhile, the Chinese military stripped and examined the EP-3's highly classified equipment and intelligence materials over the several months, eventually giving it back in pieces. Although that is expected for the F-35 to be salvaged for parts and reverse engineered, well, for one, J-20 sports a sensor system that looks awfully similar to the F-35's electro-optical targeting system, EOTS sensor. What's that similarity? Well, as task and purpose is forced to concede, the two systems are not identical, but they are both mounted in similar places under the nose of the aircraft, so as J-20 may seem the exact copy, it isn't. So if the Chinese get their hand on the crashed F-35, they will most definitely reverse engineer it. This is the third incident that an F-35 has crashed into the sea and had to be retrieved. A British F-35B, a short takeoff and vertical landing version, crashed in the Mediterranean in November 2021 after losing power while taking off from the aircraft carrier HMS Queen Elizabeth. The plane was recovered from the seafloor a few weeks later. In 2019, a Japanese F-35A, a conventional takeoff and landing version, crashed into the Pacific, killing the pilot. The wreckage of the Japanese jet and the remains of the pilot were found 2 months later. The flight data recorder of the plane was retrieved, but it was deemed to be damaged beyond repair, and a major chunk of the wreckage is still submerged. Japanese rescuers recovered one of the plane's tails from the ocean. So the reason for the crash remains unclear, but as you can see, Navy is pretty much experienced at retrieving crashed F-35s. So hopefully they will find the wreckage before China does. This was it for this video, guys. Stay tuned for more militia engineering news. See you in the next video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.